Hello, this is Elizabeth Clare Brewington with Discover Brightside and launching our Bombay podcast with RAELL. PADAMSEE. What a better way to launch Bombay podcast than to do it with her. She's a legend, and her parents are a legend, her family is legend, but she, in her own way, has done some groundbreaking work, not just in the theater and not just with her production company, but from a social point of view in helping create a better city and making the lives of those that are having really tough times a little better. So, we're going to start with the Create Foundation and the Create Trophy. And tell us a little bit about this children's research and education, arts, and theater.
Create was founded in memory of my mother, and this was in 2002. So we're 23 years old right now. After my father passed in 2018, sorry, we made sure that we had it in memory of him as well. So really, whatever we do is like an homage to both my parents when we do it for the Create Foundation. Importantly, what we started with was this was 23 years ago. Trust me, it was a very different time to today. We were talking to different NGOs who worked with children who were differently impaired. So they could be hearing impaired, sight impaired, they could have cerebral palsy. Some of them had, challenges with their physical abilities, etc. And a lot of them were from marginalized communities. So our whole focus and my maxim for Create is equal opportunity for all. So that's really something that we've grown up with. Both my parents have insisted and instilled that in us, and the art of the give back, which, I mean, there's no way. And my father keeps calling it. In fact, I launched a book of his recently after he passed. And one of the chapters was about the accident of birth, you know, and we're just really lucky to be born on this side of the tracks. I mean, what would happen if we weren't? So the idea is to be able to get everybody on board through the creative arts and give them huge opportunities to express themselves, to grow, to gain personality development, to gain communication skills, and thereby be able to sit at the table and give those interviews and get better jobs and get their families out of the circle of poverty. So we designed all these different courses for our children. We work right now currently with 20 different NGOs. This year we are impacting 1,000 children. That means we're teaching 1,000 children through the year. They'll get to get all this content through the year, and then they get to perform at the end of that and showcase what they've been done. And that's a huge area of confidence for them because they get to perform in front of a live audience, their parents, their trustees, their, what is it called, people from their schools, etc. And they then are able to, go out there, be able to talk to people, be able to communicate better, be able to work with teams, be able to understand life better because we do a lot of value building, etc. along with it. So yeah, so what we decided was to initiate a trophy, which is called the Create Trophy for Artistic Excellence amongst the NGOs. And I realized that they are far more talented than any of us put together. Sorry to say, but that's the truth. And so every year we have this award ceremony, and we make sure we give them a topic, and we give the same topic to our mainstream children as well. So here what we do is we give them this. So this year it's about resilience and how the importance of resilience. So they design a little act of 3 minutes, whether it's an act, a mime, a dance, a song, a poem, whatever they like, based on the subject, and they perform it. And we have two categories of abled and differently abled. And so we award them with, prizes, gifts. Everybody wins, of course, something or the other. Everyone is a winner. But and here we bring in a lot of our celebrity support to give them that, that push forward, to validate what they're doing, to make sure that they feel absolutely nurtured and comforted and, it's so important for them. And this also we do on a professional level. So it's on a professional stage, light, sound, video, etc., etc. Very, very lovely for them to experience that. So that really is the Create Trophy that we have started and initiated every year. And of course, they also have their performance days, which is at the end of the course, the life skills course that they do, which again, they get to perform what they've been doing over the years. So it's both ways. I think it's a very big opportunity for them to express themselves. A lot of them have extremely challenged and difficult lives, and this is such an area of special time for them. You know, we see
Yeah.
the happiness on their faces, and it's absolutely there's nothing that can you know compare with that.
Yeah, that's one of the things about being in an Indian family with the child with disabilities, part of, everything, part of it has to grow up like a normal child. And so, children with special needs having this special attention from you must be a big moment for them. And yes, they are very good with art and artistic talents. So I would love to see one of those plays. I'm sure you can
Yeah. In fact, I'll send you some of the links to what we've done in the past. So, we did a production of Sound of Music. We did My Fair Lady. We did Mahatma. We did Rediscover the Epic. These are all our big productions. This is with 350, 400 people in it. So it's like logistically, don't ask. It's we have to spend a lot of time in therapy before and after. But the thing is that it's such a fantastic celebration of talent. That's the most important thing, and the fact that everybody is on one platform. So no, and this is all integration. This is all mainstream children, schools where you and I went to, along with children from different BMC schools, etc., etc., all coming together. No one has to know who's who. No one is, singled out in any way. Everything is equal. In fact, people come to me and they say, "Listen, you told me this play was had this, sight impaired, hearing impaired. Where were they? We couldn't find them. You're lying to us, you know." So I said, "Well, then that we've achieved what we wanted to achieve. That's the good part."
I
Yeah.
know. I remember when we were growing up in theater. I mean, we were the actors, of course, the main, roles, but we were also doing all the back sets, changing, the whole sets. Of course, you probably have a huge production team now since those days. But
We do, but we also encourage the children. We're having a theatre tour. In fact, in another 2 weeks, we do all our courses also through the year, with children from mainstream schools. And we have a course called Act on Stage. So everything to do with drama per se, 4 years and upwards, they get to experience. So we get them in for a theatre tour into the theater, and they get to see everything, the console, they get to work the console, the lighting console, the mics, the LED lighting, everything. They have to understand what it is to be on the stage, and how lucky they are to be able to do that. Yeah.
I know it's very exciting. It's just the theater is just so much to it. Um, so the programs of healing, second innings, and distress for families.
Right. So, we, like I said, we worked with children a lot through the years, a lot, a lot, a lot. We've impacted about 10,000 kids. And then I turned to a friend of mine. Actually, she runs the Dignity Foundation, Dr. Sheelu. And she was talking to me about the elderly. And she said, it's really a very sad situation, especially in India, about how certain, members of the community are treated once they reach a certain age. And I said, okay, God, you must be joking. What rubbish. We all love our parents and everybody is, she said, no, no, you're living in some fool's paradise. It doesn't work like that. This is the reality. And at that time, something clicked in my head. And I said, the next thing I want to work on is being able to validate and nurture the elderly through the creative arts and give them a voice, very importantly, because they're so silenced after they retire. And here, unfortunately, in India, we don't have things like, community groups. We don't have the YMCA where they can all go and chill out and do stuff together. So this, and I'm talking about marginalized communities. We only work with them. So Dr. Shilu has put together this fantastic Dignity Foundation that works as 13 centers in Bombay. And we work with them with three of our projects we're doing this year. One is de-stress with drama. The other is dance therapy. And the third one is art therapy. And they're all going to perform at the end of this.
Beautiful. And that is such an underserved community. When you think about the elders who've done so much,
Absolutely.
and we as children, and everybody's just moved on, and no one's there to look after them. And that's so amazing that you have even thought about them and
No,
given them.
really, really. We were talking to somebody about, I was talking, there's a group that came in from Australia, 40 women, CTOs, CEOs, etc. And we were talking to them about Create and what we do. And I was explaining to them, I said, there's so much emphasis given to children and frankly, dogs. And I love dogs and I love animals. And we have about 100, NGOs for dogs here, but there's nothing for the elderly. It's ridiculous. It's like after you reach a certain, that's it, you're gone. And they're so talented. They're so talented. They're so amazingly talented.
You know,
But they've
it's
never had an opportunity. Some of them have turned to us and said, we always wanted to dance, but we've never had that chance. Something so simple, such a simple idea, but yet unable to,
yeah.
express themselves.
I know here in where we live, they have a very good program called grandparenting, where they've
Right.
connected foster children or children who don't have families with grandparents. So old elderly can, adopt a grandparent, and it really helps because the kids have somewhere to go and have like a high tea with someone or something exciting.
Yeah.
And the elderly person gets to be with a younger person, and both of them are like underserved communities. So
No, absolutely.
it's very nice. So let's move on to the partnership with Mumbai's police. Oh my goodness. uh, yeah, that is a big thing. And we have such a great police force. I mean, there's always corruption everywhere, but we do have a good police system in Mumbai. And so this sounds like a really interesting program where you've ensured safety.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
When we turned, when it was our 20th year at Create, I said, we have to do. So one was, of course, the elderly, which I was very keen, second innings, and the other, of course, was women. I said, I have to work with women. I had done it in the past, but I concentrated a lot on children, and that's why we reached where we have with Create, with our children's programs, etc., etc. So I said safety of women is crucial. That is the first thing, safety and empowerment. So we did a lot of research, a lot of study to see what exactly exists here. And frankly, it's so heartwarming that in Maharashtra, which is the state that we're in, like you all are in uh, North Carolina, I guess is the state, right? Um, Maharashtra is our state, and we have the best, by far the best laws and support system for women. The best. There are two problems. One, nobody knows about them, and two, nobody implements them. So apart from that, we have great laws for women in terms of gender justice, for anything that you do to harm a woman or to even as simple as just eve teasing or calling out or anything. A huge process is put in place. Like I said, unfortunately, nobody knows. So what we decided was we are going to spend all our energies in amplifying all this, whatever is related to this. And the first thing we did was approach the cops, the police. So the Mumbai police have this 103 women's helpline number, and they have an entire squad called the Nirbhaya Squad, which is only for women in distress. And it's a fantastic what can I say, convenience for everybody, because if you call the 103 helpline number, in 10 minutes, somebody will be at your assistance. So I don't think anywhere in the world that kind of exists. And Not only that, they're very quick. If they have updates, they get to whatever is required, etc., etc. So it's very, very important that that goes out to people. So we decided we're going to do this, and we put out a whole campaign about 103. We got 10 very big celebrities involved. It was Women's Day, 2 days to Women's Day. Okay, Women's Day is on the 8th here. And on the 6th, I woke up and I said, oh my God, we have to do something. I talked to my team. I said, we have to do it. So I quickly dialed and, you know, WhatsApped a whole lot of people that I knew. And I said, look, this is what we're doing. Are you on? Will you do it? Will you give me a video? Will you support it? Will you? And we had an amazing 10 people who joined us. One, of course, was Shabanaji. The other was Varun Dhawan. I don't know if you know him. He's one of our biggest actors. There was Kiara Advani. There was Sunil Shetty, Jackie Shroff, Baman Irani, Jim Sarab. All the whole gang of them was so lovely. They did this whole campaign for us. And we put it all out there on social media. We managed to, thanks to their followings, we reached 100 million people through this campaign. Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that they have so many followers is a wonderful thing in a positive way. So it reached that. We had 22 hoardings up, that's billboards up in Bombay, of this campaign, that if you need help, please call 103, with their faces, with their numbers, so people realize they, are more tuned into it, they're more believable, etc., etc. So we did all that with the Mumbai police, and we had this 103 Rakhi. You know what is Rakhi, right? Rakhi is a thread. I'll
Yes.
just explain it. Is a thread that is tied by a sister to a brother, and the brother promises to protect the sister. Now, it could be a real sister, it could be anybody. It's just basically a man to a woman, and that they'll be there for them in whichever way possible, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whatever. So we're very big on that. We do this a lot with our children as well, because we want that to be, that bonding to be there. So I had a play, one of these plays, Untitled, which I'm bringing to America, and we had, it happened to be on Rakhi Day, and we had the commissioner of police there in the audience, obviously, because we had invited them, etc. And I turned to him and I said, I'm going to try this Rakhi on you. It was a 103 Rakhi, you know. So this, and he was so happy, and he said, of course, and this is my pledge to the city of Bombay that we will protect all the women, etc. So it became like a metaphor for so much more. But the next day, we didn't let up. I said, okay, this is lovely, awesome. We said, make 100 more Rakis, and we took it to 93 police stations. We have 93 in Bombay. And each of the cop stations brought in their people from their areas and got the women to tie them the Rakhi. They made the whole pledge, etc., etc. So it was amplified in that way. So people at least got the idea in their head that they could call this 103 number, which is so important. It's the helpline. So that was with the police, and I think it's really, really worked well.
And that is so critical for domestic violence, for you to lodge a complaint, or
Yeah,
make that phone call, because, so many women just don't talk about it. And so this campaign is helping on so many fronts. It's not just about the protection, which is important, but it's also about women feeling more confident about being believed.
absolutely. And it's a huge
Uh,
deterrent as well. I
yes,
mean, they
yes,
know, the men know that they will be hauled up, they will be taken to jail, they
yes,
will be put behind bars,
yes,
so unfortunately, there's no cause and effect here. There's nothing. You do something, that's it. It's over.
yes.
Nobody actually deals with it. So we've been quite relentless in this enterprise of ours, to be able to see that it's working. The numbers are working. The police are actually going. What is the feedback? Yeah, no, no, absolutely.
The
I mean,
follow
when
Yeah,
I dig my teeth in, I dig my teeth in real hard. So this is one of the things that we were doing. But with the women's issues, we're doing a whole lot of other things. We're working with the women's shelters. These are women who have been abandoned and or victims of, we won't say victims, survivors of domestic abuse, domestic violence, the ones who've been rescued from brothels, the ones children who've been just abandoned at childbirth, it's very sad, Anyhow, so there are different homes that work with different people. And so we're working with them on vocational training. We're working with them on communication skills so that tomorrow they can start their own businesses. They can do something that's important.
It's such a long journey, though. It is. And so, thank you for all that you're doing. And definitely, if we can help you broadcast any of your messages and
Absolutely.
get more support for you, definitely we want to be a part of it. So
No,
thank you
no,
for
we
this
must.
beautiful interview and such amazing work. And I knew that we could not do this in 10 minutes. This is a long interview when we planned it. And thank you for all the prep work that went into it. So you're watching me with RAELL Padamsee, and we are talking about Mumbai and Bombay, the city that needs so much help. So if you can be a contributor and if you can help, write to us and we'll put you in touch and we'll make sure that the links are available. Donate, because as you know that these projects need a lot of support. So we're looking to you for support. So make donations, make contributions. If you're visiting Bombay, go and help out, volunteer, do something, tell people about it, and that's how you get the word out. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You're watching a very new version, the Bombay podcast. Thank you for watching.